Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to today's fourth match of the Legacy Challenge. We have Patrick against Alex, Death and Taxes against 4-Color Stoneblade. Right now I only see the end of Patrick, but I hope that changes in a second. I think there's still something. Yeah, now it works. Okay, so Alex already took a mulligan down to... No, he didn't. Alex started. Okay, Alex started with a pretty okay 7, and Patrick as well. He has 2 Stoneforge Mystics, which are pretty key in this matchup. He can search for Uminsava's Jitte, which helps getting rid of all the creatures that Alex plays in his Death on Texas. Otherwise, he got Junior Nemesis, which Alex cannot handle. But Alex starts with Thalia. But the creature heavy draw of Patrick just means he doesn't care at all about that. Otherwise, Alex has sort of Fire and Ice, which might come in handy. Although maybe a little late. Maybe not. I mean, he can attack through Junior Nemesis. Patrick is searching for an equipment with Stoneforge Mystic, sort of Fire and Ice as well. So this might be interesting. I think Jitte would have been better, but maybe he's planning for something different. Alex plays a Recruiter of the Guard, maybe fetching Revoker to stifle the equip clause of the sword. But that would actually make his own Sword of Fire and Ice useless. So we get to see what he names. What he searches, I mean. Okay, so he's searching for Phyrexian Revoker. Maybe his plan is really naming Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Patrick is playing on sort of autopilot. To name Nemesis next turn, he's planning to put the Sword of Fire and Ice into play and equip it. So Alex has to do something to hinder him. I mean, maybe he can get away with flickering the Recruiter, get another Flicker Wisp, stuff like that. If he plays Revoker now. I think this matchup depends a lot on who's the aggressor and who has to play a more controlish style of stuff magic. Right now, I think Alex is more in the control position than his opponent because of the true name Nemesis. He can also... Yeah, okay, that's actually pretty nice. He can name Stoneforge Mystic, and this way, sort of Fire and Ice putting into play costs 4 mana because he cannot use the Stoneforge Mystic ability, and that's what he does. So now the sword of Patrick is not playable because he can because Alex can tap away one land. Yeah, I think Alex has a small advantage on Patrick now, but like I said, it's pretty small. True Name Nemesis is a pretty good beater. Although Stonefudge Mystic, although Thalia is okay, but the Phyrexian Revoker cannot attack with a Stonefudge Mystic in play. But Alex doesn't know about it because there's another Stonefudge Mystic waiting in the hand. Okay, Patrick didn't want to attack. I don't know if he's assuming his role the right way, but maybe. I think now the gears are shifting. Alex has a little more aggression on the board with Flicker Wisp, putting exiling the recruiter. He searched for another Flicker Wisp, like I said. He can chain Flicker Wisp with Imperial Recruiter, so the flying beatdown can get over everything that Patrick has. Patrick sees a lot of counter magic, which might be okay. I mean, the dazes are not useful because Alex has so much mana, but the Force of Will might come in handy. Although if he plays the Brainstorm now, he got to find another blue card to pitch. If he plays the Sword of Fire and Ice, does Alex? No, he's not. He's not going to play that. Which, yeah, I mean, I was thinking if he plays the Sword of Fire and Ice now, he can equip it next turn. But since Alex has a Flicker Wisp in hand, he can just flicker the Revoker and name Sword of Fire and Ice with it. So he'd rather opted to play the Deathrite Shaman and Stonefudge Mystic, getting Jitte. I think Jitte should be the first choice against Death and Taxes. They have so many creatures that just die to one counter removed. But maybe he thought that he wanted the card advantage part of the Sword of Fire and Ice rather than the removal capabilities of Umezawa's Jitte. So next turn, Patrick can play Jitte, equip it to True Name Nemesis, attack. Mother of Runes would have done nothing to hinder that. So now Alex can use the Flicker Wisp to reset the Revoker. But he opted to reset Flicker Wisp. And then exiling what? Okay, he exiled one of Patrick's land, but that does not help by a lot. I mean, I think if Patrick doesn't draw land, he cannot play Jit and equip it, but with Sylvan Library in play, he gets to draw enough cards. So Jit is in play now. Okay, I mean, he still had the death right, so he had enough mana anyway. Now he can attack with True Name Nemesis, get some counters on the Jite. And to be honest, I guess that this should handle Alex's board pretty fast, and I don't think he can draw anything that helps him right now. I got to check the list to see if he has any artifact removal in the main board. But I would be surprised if it was that way. Yeah, Alex has a pair of Thalias and a Sword of Fire and Ice. I mean, it's not a lot he can do there. Especially because his opponent can play Sword of Fire and Ice now and equip it as well. So I think this game should be over in a second. He can kill Alex's whole board. Except maybe the Thalia that Alex could potentially rescue with the Caracas, but since he has two other Thalias in play, in hand, it makes no difference at all. So he can play Flicker Wisp, maybe exile one of the equipments, but that only costs Patrick 2 mana then. He can also equip the sword, but then his creature just gets killed by the Jite. I think Alex is just playing for the sake of playing. He knows that there's no way he can win. So we can take a look at his sideboard for a second. He has Council's Judgment as an artifact removal in his sideboard, which might come in handy. It also is able to handle the True Name Nemesis because it doesn't target. Otherwise, Pithing Needle, maybe Gideon Alley of Zendikar. Gideon is a pretty strong creature, not so much against True Name Nemesis, but creature. It's a pretty good planeswalker. I mean, it produces a lot of creatures with only one card you have to commit to the board. And it can also pump all of your existing creatures and the tokens you produced for final attack or to overcome all the creatures that your opponent has on play. What you're taking out, it's what you bring in. It's not the hard part what you bring in, but what you take out. Sorry. Sanction Prelate, yeah, I think that's a good choice. Sarah Avenger, you can always cut like one of these. If you don't have Heather Vial, they're pretty slow against decks like what Patrick is playing. Patrick, on the other hand, is thinking about boarding in Thoughtseize. Engineered Plague is okay, yeah. The Garruk is kind of the equivalent of the Gideon and Alex's list. And the Zealous Persecution is just pretty good because it handles most of the creatures that Alex puts into play. Otherwise, he boards out Jace, which makes sense. The Dazes, because he's on the draw. And one Force of Will. I'm actually not a huge fan of Force of Will in this matchup because you need it in the first turn when your opponent has another vial. Otherwise, it does actually nothing. Your opponent has Cavern of Souls and Ether Vial, then your Force of Will do not a lot. Alex has pretty slow hand. I assume he's going to mulligan that. His opponent has only one land and a Deathrite Shaman as mana sources. Otherwise, his hand is okay, but I mean that's why you play the cards. But he took a mulligan as well. Yeah, makes sense. With Noble Hierarch Thoughtseize, he might opt to keep that, and he does. Alex kept the slow one, and his opponent's Grite. Don't know what he did see, but we will know. True Name Nemesis. That's the card that produced a lot of headache for Alex in the last game, and now with Noble Hierarch it comes down one turn faster. So the question is, will Alex use the Swords to Plowshares to kill the Noble Hierarch? And he does. Since the lists are public, he knows what he can expect if there's a Noble Hierarch in play for his opponent. To rename them as a second turn or even a Leovold might be pretty devastating. So since Alex has two Ether Vials, the Wasteland is not that good for Patrick. And he's playing the Thoughtseize. I think I would take the Gideon, even though the Mirren Crusader is pretty brutal. But you get a True Name Nemesis in hand. You can block the Crusader. But the Gideon is just devastating, like I said. And Patrick is thinking about that as well, I guess. So now Alex tapped the other vial, even though his opponent knows he has no one. So I guess Alex is just passing the turn. He doesn't want to cast the Mirror Crusader. Although, like I said, his opponent knows what Alex has in hand, so especially after he drew a land and played it right away. I don't know what the advantage of playing the land there is, but maybe Alex could bluff something with keeping the land in hand. This way his opponent has free information on what Alex has. So Alex has Mirror Crusader and Phyrexian Revoker, which he can both put in with the Otherwise. So I guess Patrick will not attack. Even though with Noble Hierarch, True Name Nemesis deals 4 damage, but he will get 4 on the backswing as well with the Mirror Crusader, so there's no merit in playing in attacking. Stoneforge Mystic, searching for. So what will it be? The Beta Skull, the GT, Sword of Fire and Ice. Like I said, I like GT in this matchup, but it seems like Patrick is pretty keen on Sword of Fire and Ice. So Alex puts in the Revoker, I guess naming Stoneforge Mystic again. And then he will put in the Mirror Crusader. Maybe even naming. Let me just check that. This time Alex was naming the Sword of Fire and Ice rather than the Stoneforge Mystic because he knows that Patrick has that in hand. And with Sword of Fire and Ice, Patrick could have played it and then equipped it, so naming that was definitely correct. This way, So now Patrick actually drew pretty good. He has Engineered Plague and the Swords of Plowshares, so he could handle both creatures of Alex. He can also put in the Sword of Fire and Ice. And on the next turn, play he had white mana with the Noble Hierarch. I forgot about that. I think Alex is pretty devastated by that draw because now the True Name Nemesis can kill the Mirror Crusader with the sword trigger. And again, it's looking pretty bleak for Alex. Maybe you should have played the Pithing Needle, although I don't know about that. It would have definitely handled the prevented the Sword of Fire and Ice from equipping. But I mean, who am I? I got perfect information here. Alex might have thought that that his opponent has abrupt decay or something like that, but I don't know. Does he even have abrupt decay in his list? Let me check that. Yeah, he has a single abrupt decay in his whole list, so the chances are slim, but they are there. And again, I think that Alex has to draw pretty guess cards like Council's Judgment, but even that just prevents little damage. Okay, Patrick is playing Engine Hit Plague, will name Angel, and then kill the Angel with the Sword of Fire and Ice trigger again. So this way, he leaves Alex with only top decking cards. And to be honest, that's not a good position for Alex to be in. Most of his cards are, I would say, pretty bad against the board that Patrick is presenting. I mean, you see it. It's Patrick can get in for 7, 8. Wait a second. That's 9 this turn. Even if Alex plays anything with marginally significant impact, he still gets Alice Persecution and the better Skull in hand. And Alex just drew a land, so that's it. Alex lets his opponent draw some cards. Yeah, and that's the conclusion of this match.
Yo.
Yo.